Fiasco Sports NBA season preview. Joining me again, Chris Guscott. We're in the Matt Sampson household.
I like it. This is very homely.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
We've had some irreparable audio issues with the second time we filled the Cavs. This is the third time that I'm running through this team.
Just having no luck, are you?
No luck at all. Hopefully the Cavs have more luck this season than we have filming the preview, but you know, normally this is where we give a quick shout out to Sporties for hosting us, but today's episode is actually brought to you by IKEA.
Yeah, exactly.
So thanks to you, Sweden, for helping us out. The Cleveland Cavaliers, though, they're third in my rankings, which places them number one overall in the Eastern Conference. Best team in the East. How do you what's your opinion on that?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is being best in the East isn't as impressive as it used to be, but that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is, this is a team that has really formed itself into a superpower pretty much overnight.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a bit later, but yeah, I think there's really no complaints. The only other team I could see probably challenging them would be Chicago.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
coincidentally, my second-ranked team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, exactly.
So great minds think alike. No, I agree. The Cavs were sort of in the doldrums since LeBron left, and he's returned the Messiah. Yeah. Everything's turned around, like you said, almost overnight. Yeah. Well, literally overnight. He penned that letter to SI. Correct. He left out Andrew Wiggins and Anthony Bennett just mysteriously from the letter, and then they were traded to the Timberwolves a month later.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder how that happened.
Yeah, and they've got Kevin Love, they've got Kyrie Irving. You know, we'll touch on all of that, everything that's happened in a little bit. But what happened last season was a bit much of the same since LeBron skipped town. 33 and 49 put them 10th in the East, which you said that being first in the East isn't all that impressive these days. 10th in the East is even worse.
Woeful,
Not a great offensive team. No. Not a great defensive team either, and you know, they sort of went all in on big signings like Andrew Bynum, bringing Luol Deng across. That didn't work out, did it?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I think, like you said, it's that sort of LeBron James leaving kind of put a little curse on them, if you will. They've kind of just stuck in mediocrity for a while. I mean, Kyrie Irving was probably obviously the highlight of that sort of period where he was gone. And obviously you can see the star that he's sort of bloomed into now. But I guess last year was a real problem because, you know, when you try to put your eggs into baskets who maybe kind of be a little unproven, with Bynum, I think the team that was around him at the Lakers before he went and to come to Cleveland, I think kind of made him more than what he was as an individual player. And then he had the bowling incident and everything, which is always fun to remember. And then he grew a massive afro.
Half an afro,
sorry. Yeah, well, either way, that just kind of summed it up, I guess. But yeah, I think Cleveland invested in the wrong people, unfortunately. They wouldn't have known that at the time, and I don't think we could have blamed them, especially I was a big fan of the Bynum move. But
definitely. Yeah. Oh, I'm the same. I was a big fan of Bynum because of the contract they put him on, which, you know, it did work out well in the end. Not that it went well, but the way that they loaded that contract so that if they cut him by a certain date, they only had to pay, I think it was 25% of the deal. So the Philadelphia experience, you know, he did what he wanted. He didn't play the entire year. He sort of didn't care about basketball anymore. He came to Cleveland like a team that already had some fiery locker room issues with guys like Dion Waiters and Kyrie Irving butting heads, and then the whole situation, and like you said, it just blew up in his face, blew up in everyone's face. They sent him to Chicago. They got Luol Deng, who's now in Miami, coincidentally enough, which I've got that as it was a low reward move. But I suppose when you bring in LeBron James, it doesn't really matter, does it?
I think you did it right for yourself in the trade period.
Yeah, and bringing in LeBron James, they did that because of the strength we've got there, which is their draft lottery luck. I mean, 3 number 1 picks in 4 years.
They should actually buy a ticket in the lottery, the real lottery, because they've just been unbelievably lucky with it. It's been extraordinary. I've been personally on the end of a few of those decisions being a Wizards fan. We're usually in the lottery or down the good end of the draft picks, and every single time it just seems Cleveland just bumps us. Doesn't matter where they finish.
Seriously though, 3 number 1 picks in 4 years was what that's literally what brought LeBron home. There is a lot of rhetoric about the coming home in Cleveland, and that will have played a part. Obviously that does mean something to him, but he chose Cleveland over Miami because Cleveland is a much better basketball situation to be in because Kyrie Irving,
well, for starters,
coincidentally a number 1 pick, is on the team. All-star, amazing player. He's going to be awesome. He is awesome.
Yeah.
Then Anthony Bennett, flamed out a little bit, but number one pick, has that potential, has that label on you now. You've been the number one pick. That you're worth more. If he was the 7th pick,
which he probably should have been a minute.
Yeah, exactly. But then he's not going to carry as much weight because you don't have that status behind you. So
that expectation.
Anthony Bennett and then Andrew Wiggins, who's been lauded as a next generation talent for the longest time. They are the sole reasons that Kevin Love was able to come over from Minnesota.
Exactly,
so these number one picks are quite literally the reason why LeBron is here. So that draft lottery luck has, completely helped them bring LeBron home. It's quite a remarkable circumstance, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it this way. I mean, if you looked at kind of what the situation was for LeBron when he left, like everybody thought of his Cleveland days and his high school days. Like you're in your hometown and you're trying to make all your family and your friends happy and stuff. And then he went away to college for 4 years at Miami.
That's exactly what I was going to call it. Miami was like the college experience. You get away from home, you grow, and then you come back.
Win a few championships. And then come home to
does in college.
Yeah, exactly. And then come home to a grand homecoming where everyone loves you again.
Yeah.
And you've got a better situation. Like if you look at what Miami has, very shallow depth, and the other way around for Cleveland.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Let's look exactly right now what Cleveland has done in the offseason. Obviously, the biggest fish they've added is LeBron James.
Shawn Marion. Sorry.
Okay, you're right. I do love Shawn Marion. How could I have missed that one?
Yeah,
I was just getting LeBron out of the way.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
We could get to Matrix in a second. Obviously James Jones, Mike Miller, big names. LeBron James has come home. We'll talk about him later. He's obviously, it's no surprise, he's going to feature heavily in this episode. But I want to talk to you about Kevin Love right now, added to this team. There's a lot of people that are saying that joining this team is going to affect Kevin Love the way that affected Chris Bosh when Bosh came down from Toronto to Miami because he sort of had to play that third banana to the other guys. Do you think that Kevin Love is going to take a big step back this season in Cleveland?
Well, I think the difference between the Kevin Love and the Chris Bosh comparison is that Kevin Love probably steps in as the 2 in the big 3 now.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the Dwayne Wade in terms of the second tier sort of in that sort of structure. Kevin Love, I think, also was a better player than Bosh when he ended up coming in because there's not a whole lot of people that get 25 and 13 a night.
Yeah, I think those two are literally the only 2 people who have done that in the last 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the crazy thing is that Kevin Love is still underrated, in my own opinion, as the player that he is. But saying that, though, you've got LeBron James. You can't expect to get anywhere near the sort of production because I think it's just expected that you kind of step down to him at least. And then Kyrie Irving was already there, and the way that kind of he plays, you might have to take some adjustments as well. And the fact that maybe they will kind of look to have a bit of inside presence, considering they've got some good outside guys. Maybe Kevin Love's production might drop a little bit, but his rebounding should be the same. I think maybe points might go down a little bit, but he still will be Kevin Love, dangerous inside and out.
Well, that's the thing, is that I think, like you said, Kevin Love is just a better version of Chris Bosh. On the offensive end, at least. I mean, Chris Bosh is a really underrated defender in this league. And, he's not a Serge Ibaka spectacular defender, but he is a great rim protector, whereas Kevin Love has not proven that because he is a rebound whore.
Yeah.
And there's many times where, his opponent will be going at the rim and he's just going to step off him and try and get in better rebounding position. And, fair enough. He's been playing in the wilderness in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's true.
For the longest. He's never played in a playoff
4
game.
televised games they've had in however long he's been.
Well, that's probably why he's underrated, because no one actually ever watches this guy play except when he plays the big teams and his teams are getting stomped.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or he's in the All-Star game or winning the 3-point contest.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Which is something I wanted to talk about because that's where Kevin Love is the better player than Bosh. Because Bosh developed into a decent 3-point shooter. Still not great, but respectable. Kevin Love is a ready-made assassin from the outside that a Kevin Love, LeBron James pick and roll is going to be the most unstoppable move in the entire league because the chaos that the pick and roll already causes, where you have to make decisions, you have to switch, you have to go under, you have to fight through screens. This is there's nothing that these guys can't do. LeBron gets to the rim harder and faster than anyone in the league, finishes better. He's got a great pull-up game now. He can post you up. Yeah. He can step out and knock down the three. Kevin Love can pop. He's going to drain threes all day. He can he can fade to the short corner, hit a baseline shot. He can go at the rim and finish strong. Who do you guard?
That's like picking your poison, really.
Yeah, how do you stop it?
Yeah, exactly. Kneecap him?
I don't know. Without physical violence.
Okay, without physical violence, it makes it a lot more difficult.
Blake Griffin style hard fouling on a screen.
If you do that.
But this Kevin Love is going to slot perfectly into this, because the space that LeBron creates around himself, because he's just that vacuum on defense. Everyone has to know where LeBron is. You have to be on a swivel at all times.
And that passing ability he's now got as well, that he's kind of developed as well. That ability that he's able to look around the court and provide for people now as well makes us even more deadly. Yeah, so I'm super excited to see Kevin Love play in this system. We've seen a couple preseason games already where he has just been naked on the three-point line, bare-bottomed as he was on the day he was born, just sitting out there, just splashing trays all day. And that's really going to help the other guys on this team, isn't it? Yeah. Shawn Marion, that jump shot is it physically makes me sad to watch his jump shot.
It's not pretty to watch, but
if it gets results, you know what?
Yeah, that's it. It works. James Jones, part of the Miami Mafia, heading across. Mike Miller, good friends with LeBron James, also a three-point threat. Yeah. And David Blatt, the new head coach, his first time in the NBA, which a lot of people haven't seen him in Europe before, but his offense is all about that Spurs style. Yeah, exactly. Ball movement, passing around, open looks. It's going to be really fun to watch. Oh yeah. We should touch about the guys they did lose though. Sure. Andrew Wiggins was around long enough to do a Panini photo shoot, but he's gone. He played some summer league games and flashed some brilliance, but you've got the chance to build a 10-year legacy with LeBron James and Andrew Wiggins that might work out, because Wiggins has that boom or bust potential.
Yeah, of course.
Or you bring in Kevin Love and you start winning rings now. Yeah. It wasn't much of a decision, was it?
Yeah, exactly. I think they made the right choice. And even personally looking at Andrew Wiggins, I thought there were better options than him. I would have taken Jabari Parker over Wiggins, but that's just me. But I still think he's going to be a very good player. Yeah. But whether, because I still think that Wiggins would have struggled in that system with LeBron.
Yeah, he would have learnt a lot playing behind LeBron James, but I think you definitely wouldn't have seen the expected production from a number one pick, because, there's only so...
There's Anthony Bennett. So.
Yeah, exactly. There's only so many balls to go around. Anthony Bennett's going to demand the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
We haven't even touched on Dion Waiters yet. We're going to talk about how
we got a long show coming.
How much Dion Waiters loves the ball. But yeah, these guys, Wiggins, I think, you had to deal him. You had to bring in Kevin Love. When you have that opportunity, you just have to do it.
Of course.
Well, dang, don't really need him. You've got LeBron James now, Spencer Hawes. You've got Kevin Love to be a big man shooting threes. CJ Miles, doesn't really matter. Bennett's gone. Jarrett Jack, Tyler Zeller, Alonzo G, Sergei Karasev. These names don't really mean much now. That
they just swept out. They just swept out the bad roster and just upgraded almost everywhere.
Pretty much, it's one of the biggest turnovers in the league this offseason. But you can't complain with any of the moves that they've made, can you?
No, of course not.
They've got all these players. They've got to play them at some point. But the five guys who are going to play the most minutes here is the obvious, isn't it, really? You've got Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Kevin Love. They play themselves into this lineup. Exactly. You'd have to be an idiot not to play them. Yep. The two positions we do need to talk about, though, Dion Waiters called him and Kyrie the best backcourt in the entire league. And I know you're a Wizards fan.
As a Wizards fan, that doesn't sit well with me at all, but... I see the potential there. I see there's a little bit of truth to that, mostly on Irving's part. Yeah, because I still even think Irving's underrated. Yeah, but I think Dion Waiters, very good college player, and you see bits and pieces of what he should be, but he isn't at that level where you'd go out of your way to game plan against him.
No, I think Dion Waiters thinks he's a number one option. That's pretty clear, but he isn't.
So now he's basically the 4 option now.
Yeah, well, he has to be. And that's the key to this team, I think, is in the locker room, is Dion accepting that role off the bench, or playing that fourth wheel when he does play crunch time minutes for these 5 guys. Because I think on a bad team, Dion Waiters could be a number one option.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you give him 20 shots a night and, you know, all the playing time in the world for the Sixers, he's going to light it up. He's going to score buckets. He's going to dish out a few assists, crash the glass. Exactly. He's going to rack up stats, you know. He is a baller. Like you said, when he was at Syracuse, he was
not bad at all.
He was really good.
Oh, yeah.
But if he can be that sixth man that just comes in and just eats against second units, that this team is going to be even deeper than you think they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you worried about this backcourt combination, the clashing of heads?
See, I've always had problems with personalities because that's the one thing that can derail good players. Once people start clashing heads, the passes don't flow as well. You know, the game plan doesn't seem to. It seems a little bit like clicky.
Yeah.
It can actually be a serious problem, but I don't think it will be that much, considering that this team is just so talented. I don't think even that can do them in.
Dion Waiters might think he's the best in the world, but deep down he knows that it's probably LeBron.
I think Dion should probably also recognise that this is a very good chance for him to get a ring.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if you're doing anything to kind of stop that, it's definitely your own fault.
John Wall said, hey, if you want to call yourself the best backcourt in the league, tell me when you played a playoff game.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if Dion just sits tight, plays his role, he's going to be playing a lot of playoff games for this team. Another guy in this lineup, though, Chris, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Uncle Drew, he's a big key to this side, isn't he? And I want to squash something with you right now. Kyrie Irving, the in vogue criticism of him and Kevin Love right now is they haven't played a playoff game. They haven't played a meaningful minute of basketball in their career. Wrong!
Exactly.
Incorrect. That's not right. Kevin Love played at the Olympics. I don't care what you say about the Dream Team. That is a serious environment. That's medals on the line. I don't care how good they were. They had to play Spain. That was a hard win. They got it done. Kevin Love was a crucial part of that. Kyrie Irving, MVP of the FIBA World Cup. The best player in the entire tournament. For someone that many were saying, is he going to make this team? Why are they picking him over John Wall? He doesn't defend. They've got Stephen Curry. Why have they got him? He came out, he set the world ablaze, literally, and just was amazing. All-Star Game MVP. When he's surrounded by All-Star caliber talent, Kyrie Irving takes it to the next level. He shines through, and he's amazing. So,
exactly,
he's got who better could he have played with?
No, exactly.
Right now, he's got LeBron James, Kevin Love. I think this whole play. Obviously, the playoffs are a different animal.
Sure.
Everything's more crucial. Every pass is crucial. Every shot, everything means more. But he's ice cold, like cold-blooded in end game situations. Buzzer beaters, his fourth quarter shooting, and he's. I just think it's dumb. I just think it's ridiculous to say that because he hasn't played in the playoffs that he won't be able to. He's a pro. He's amazing. He plays really well with star talent. I'm going to let you talk now.
That's right. No, keep ranting. I like it.
No,
this is good.
I hate this argument. Well, it's dumb to me. It's so dumb.
Yeah, well, I would agree with it if he didn't have people around him. If he went into with that Cleveland team, he went into the playoffs, and I would have been like, oh, a little bit shaky. Yeah. If he disappears, LeBron's played with people like Mario Chalmers before.
Yeah. And Mario Chalmers has had meaningful finals moments.
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
I mean, and who would put Chalmers above Irving? Like, next to no one. So, I mean...
Chalmers.
Waiters.
Yeah.
But Waiters just put himself in front of it.
Dion puts everyone above Kyrie because he wants to be the king.
He wants to take the backcourt. No, but... yeah, it's a dumb argument now. Because, I mean... That first round for the Cavs is going to be a breeze.
Yeah.
He's going to get 4 easy games in. Of his playoff experience, and even if it gets more intense and everything like that, he's got a whole bunch of guys around him who are gonna, like you said, they're experienced in the moment. Like you even talk about people like Mike Miller.
Yeah,
he's been there so many times before.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a team that is ready to go for the playoffs, and just because 1 or 2 pieces haven't been there before doesn't mean that it's all going to fall apart on everyone.
Quickly, we're going to touch on Anderson Varejao and Tristan Thompson. This big man rotation is a little worrisome, isn't it? Because there's not a lot of rim protection there, is there?
To me, Anderson Varejao is reliable, but he's not a star by any stretch of the imagination. And Tristan Thompson, pretty much exactly the same thing as well. Actually, reliable, sort of dependable, but I don't know. That is a weak spot on that team. Bigger teams, maybe like Memphis, might get them a little bit.
That's going to be a serious problem, I think, is when you come up against some big-bodied front courts, that you have to really body up against and play physical if these guys aren't on the court, because Varejao, we know, has a history of injury struggles. When he's on, and he's great, but he's only going to give you 50 games a year, maybe.
Exactly.
Thompson, I think, he's serviceable, like you said. He's just, if he can just be Tristan Thompson, play 82 games, better to play in that second unit with Dion Waiters. That's great. I think Brendan Haywood's going to have to try and do something. But if they can bring in another guy, I think that would help. If you look at LeBron's Miami teams that won rings, I mean, you had Joel Anthony.
Exactly.
Chris, the Birdman. As much as I love the Birdman, you know, it doesn't really set the world.
It's not elite,
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's going to be a problem in some cases, but not a massive issue. I think it's when they play Chicago and they have to come against Pau Gasol.
That's true. That's a very good point.
Joakim Noah, maybe there's your problem.
We'll find out.
But, you know, at the same end, Pau Gasol's not a great defender. He has to try and guard Kevin Love, or they put Taj Gibson on, which, you know, then that hurts their offense. But, you know, that's something which you can't really speculate on right now, is it? Because we don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly,
There's more moves in this team, I think, if anything. But one thing we can speculate on and can talk about, because it's pretty clear to know what this guy's going to do.
We're about to get to him.
My pick for the most important player to this team is, do we even need to say it? LeBron James, last year was, in some critics' eyes, a down year for LeBron. And you look at it, 27 points, 7 boards, 6 assists.
Yeah, down year. That's what I say too.
57% from the floor shooting, almost.
That's
Chris.
just insane.
Almost hitting 30 with his PER, All NBA first team, and All NBA defensive second team, which, like, in a down season where people said he was falling off, his defense isn't what it used to be, he's just racking up accolades like there's no tomorrow. Conceded the MVP to Kevin Durant, but, you know,
had to give it up sometime.
Michael lost one to Karl Malone, he lost one to Charles Barkley, and that's not to say Kevin Durant doesn't deserve it.
Of course,
had a blinder of a year, but MVPs aren't really what LeBron's about right now, is it? He's about winning rings. He's come home, and, you know, the rhetoric's overblown in my eyes. I think, you know, he loves to be in Cleveland, but he's gone to the better basketball situation. He's better poised to win rings. What are you expecting from LeBron this season? Is he going to fall back statistically, or is he going to embrace?
Well, admittedly, we kind of all thought that he'd fall back statistically going to Miami, and he only improved. And I think this is the sort of situation where we've talked about it before, the way that he fits in with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving. I don't think there's going to be any drop-off in production at all. Because, you know, this is the best basketball player in the world. Put him in isolation and he'll beat you 90 times out of 100, and that's a scary thing. Like, there aren't a whole lot of players who can do that. And if you kind of look at the way that team sort of works, assist numbers, I reckon, will go up, which is scary for a man his size. I reckon his points per game production, especially if they're running a quicker sort of offense, like the way that David Blatt likes to move it around, I think that this could be a very scary team in terms of how he continues to get points. And I don't think MVPs, I think he's won enough of them for people to realise he's still the best in the world, but I don't see him dropping in production at all just because he's moved to another team, because the team is better than it was at Miami, and it actually probably complements him a little bit more as well. Yeah, well,
the thing is, people are comparing, like, going back to Cleveland like going to Miami, I think, which the change when he went to Miami was because, like we said, he grew as a player. He became a different player. He was obviously a freak of nature.
But he didn't have anyone around him in the first half of that.
And he learnt how to lead a team. You know, he went to the finals with Cleveland and got demolished by the Spurs because he was a great player, but he wasn't a great leader. Now he's a great leader. I mean, you look at the statistical difference between Cleveland and Miami, and it's not that great. I mean, Cleveland 27.8 points, Miami 26.9. His assists went down by 0.3, boards up by 0.6. The biggest thing, you know, 3-pointers he bumped by 4%, and the field goal shooting, just astronomical difference. 47 when he left.
Unbelievable.
54.3 in his 4 years at Miami. So he's a better leader. He's more efficient. The scoring's not really that different. I think, you know, a 27-7-7 season is is
ridiculous for starters, but
yeah, it's on the cards again. Like I think you know, the points that he's going to fall off are the games played.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he's not going to play a lot less minutes like a Spurs style. You know, he's not going to play 29 minutes a game. He's going to play his 35 minutes. He's just not going to. He's going to skip 12 games. He's still going to be a beast. He's still going to destroy. And the Cleveland factor is going to be huge. Does this team have a realistic chance of going 41-0 at home, breaking the Celtics record?
See, it's really tough to tell about home records because you never know what could happen at the start of the year. They could lose their first 2 at home. Because I still think this team, as much as they've been good in the preseason, I still think there is a bit that needs to click for that team. And it's exactly the same. Like, I know that it's not the same as Miami, but it is the same in Miami as when you have a whole bunch of superstars from their own teams who are used to being the number ones all come in together and have to work with each other. Chemistry is a little hard to come by at first, and that's exactly what Miami struggled with in their first year when LeBron was there. It took them a little bit to get going. So I don't know, like I still don't think Cleveland is going to really hit their stride to maybe a third of the way through the season, I guess. And what you define as stride could probably be 120 points a night or something ridiculous. But I honestly think that Cleveland, you know, I don't think they're going to be that formidable early on. It would just be talent getting them through. But towards the end of the year,
I think, you know, we've answered all the tough questions here, but I think
that's what we do.
We've got to move on to the toughest question of them all.
Oh, of course.
The Believe the Hypothetical section, brought to you by Tom Reed, Benjamin Cadane, the guys at Believe the Hype NBA podcast. Check it out. Look at all their info on the screen. It's really worth your time. It's great stuff. They put a lot of effort into it. They've got a lot of great... I mean, I just listened to one episode. They had Dellavedova on.
Of course, as you do.
Of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
As you do.
And we're just two guys on a couch. So if you like us, you'll love them. Their prediction, though, for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Chris, as a quote from the preseason, I don't know if you've heard it. Hey, did you hear LeBron James is coming back to Cleveland?
No, I didn't. No.
Well, good. You do know now because I have been looking forward to getting a decent side. That is a direct quote from Dion Waiters.
Oh, Dion Waiters. This guy is just an endless source of entertainment. I think he's fantastic.
You know it's true though.
Oh, well, deep down, I think we all know it's true. I think we're all just kind of kidding ourselves with the LeBron thing. I think Dion Waiters is going to be the next Jordan. No, that's off the record. That's not true. To be serious for a second, I think Dion Waiters, like we talked about before, it could be a problem.
Yeah.
But that is a good quote. I think that adds a little bit of entertainment factor to them.
I think this is going to be one of the most interesting subplots of the season is whether Dion Waiters is going to be a head case this year, if he's going to fall back into his role. I mean, I can see him coming off the bench, like I said, just eating against second units and, you know, 15, 16 points a game, lighting it up in stretches. Leading
six man of the year, maybe.
Yeah, well, maybe leading the team in scoring on some nights when the other guys are resting, and you know he can be that guy. But at the same time, I can also see him just like fuming on the bench, as you know, our main man, Matty Dellavedova, is on the court starting with Kyrie.
Of course.
And Dion's just angry, furious on the bench.
It's like Batman in the fourth version of Robin. Just the fourth version of Robin, the fourth backup to Robin going on, better than Batman.
Sneaking around the stadium, peeling all the twos off of everyone's LeBron James.
Having those 1,000-pound dumbbells over and just pulling it.
Spraying waders on the back of everyone's top. But like, I think this is going to be really interesting to see. Buzzer beater round. Your prediction for the Cleveland Cavaliers this season?
Come out straight away and say they won't win the title. But finals is easily accomplishable.
Yeah.
We talked about the problem that Chicago could potentially face them in the Eastern Conference Finals. The problem they could cause them. I still think Cleveland is a better team.
Yeah.
But the West is too strong. And I still think even if San Antonio doesn't get through, I think there's a team that could beat Cleveland beyond that.
Yeah.
So finals is the ceiling for me. I think the floor would be if they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to Chicago. I think that's acceptable at this stage of the sort of the Cleveland era now.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest sign of LeBron's growth was in that SI letter that he wrote, and he came out and he said, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not expecting to win immediately, which, you know, is not one, not two.
I think he's fixed that now.
That shouldn't have happened. That was dumb. Just that whole thing, you know. I think he got caught up in it all. He got excited, which can you blame him?
It's his college.
Yeah, it's college. That was fresh.
Rocked up as freshman year, kicked the door in.
That was freshman year, and they just went straight into keg stands, I think, which he just needed to, you know.
And then jumped down on a stage of 30,000 people.
Yeah, it's like, Bron, slow your roll, just calm down a little bit.
Exactly.
And, you know, now he's more mature. He's got his degree. Yeah. He's come home and he understands. Which I'm exactly the same as you. Yeah. I can see them winning the ring though. I can.
Okay, sure.
How could you not with this team envision them winning? But I don't know if they will. I'd be more leaning to the side that they won't. I think they're going to make the finals though. Oh, yeah. I think, you know, Chicago's going to be a problem, but, you know, they've got their own issues as well. Exactly. Noah's got issues with his knees. Derek Rose has issues with staying on the court at all. There's a lot going on for both of these teams. I think, like I said, Eastern Conference Finals is their floor. Yeah. Winning a ring is their ceiling. They're going to fall somewhere in between that. That's probably the safest prediction to make. Yep. I think the regular season they're going to surprise. I think they're going to cruise through this regular season. I think they're going to blend really well. Okay. I mean, you look at how deep this side is. It's way stronger than any of the Miami teams. It's way stronger than any of his past Cleveland teams. I think this team is going to be an offensive juggernaut, setting offensive records. You know, they're the perfectly built team for LeBron. I think it's going to be really good.
Do you think defense will be a problem?
I think so. It's some like interior defense. Yeah. I think LeBron is a great
perimeter's not a problem.
Yeah. He's going to be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year again. I think he's going to be rejuvenated. He's going to be back in the game. I think you saw him halfway through the finals last year. He was checking out. You know, he was still trying really hard, but he knew it was over. Everyone knew it was over. Spurs were just crushing everything. Yeah. He's home. He's more comfortable. He's got a better team. He's going to be locked in. Delly's an excellent perimeter defender.
Start Delly. Start a campaign. Hashtag start Delly. Let's do it.
I don't think we need to start that campaign. I think they're going to do it. I think
just put him in for Waiters.
Yeah, Delly should be in the starting lineup.
Yeah, probably should.
Shawn Marion, great defender.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Miller, underrated defender. He's a big body. He can slide his feet when his feet work.
Yeah, exactly. When his legs actually move up and down.
When he can lift like the 15 pairs of socks that he wears. Yeah, perimeter defense is going to be okay. Interior, it's going to be a bit of an issue. But yeah, like we said, could be Eastern Conference Finals, could be the finals. And even if they flame out in the second round, it's not going to be that big of an issue.
They've still got a few more years.
I think we understand how this works now. You know, you have to mesh and everything. But yeah, Cleveland Cavaliers, the third best team in the league this season, I think.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Thanks for joining us though. Fiasco Sports NBA season preview in my house.
This is nice.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit down and watch some TV afterwards.
Doesn't quite have the aesthetically pleasing backdrop.
Oh, that's not bad.
But, you know.
Don't sell yourself short.
No, it's been nice. I'm not wearing shoes.
Yeah, neither am I, actually. This is great.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I've been Matt Sampson. This has been Chris Guscott. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Western Conference. Who's it going to be? Interesting.
Yeah.